9 signs you should cut ties, even with family or friends. Stoic philosophy. Have you ever found yourself in a relationship that slowly eats away at your sense of self-worth, peace, and happiness? In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to overlook how certain bonds, whether with family or friends, can subtly drain your energy and confidence. While it may seem unthinkable to cut ties with people you care about, the reality is that staying in these toxic relationships can be a barrier to your mental and emotional well-being. As Marcus Aurelius wisely put it, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. This powerful Stoic teaching reminds us that we hold the key to our own inner peace. In this video on Stoic in Your Life, we'll explore 9 unmistakable signs that signal it's time to let go, even if they're close family or friends. We'll also share practical advice on how to cultivate healthier relationships moving forward. By recognizing these red flags and understanding when to step away, you can reclaim your emotional strength and create space for connections that truly enhance your life. Number 1. Avoid those who don't share responsibilities. In any relationship, whether with family, friends, or colleagues, balance is the cornerstone of mutual respect and harmony. A healthy bond requires both parties to contribute fairly, sharing responsibilities in a way that reflects mutual effort and care. This contribution may take many forms, such as financial support, emotional availability, or practical assistance in day-to-day matters. However, when one person consistently shirks their responsibilities, it creates an imbalance that slowly erodes the foundation of the relationship. This imbalance often leaves one party feeling drained, exploited, or undervalued. Consider the example of a friend who has no issue spending lavishly on personal indulgences, but conveniently becomes financially strapped when it's time to split a dinner bill or contribute to a shared activity. Such behavior is rarely about genuine hardship. More often, it signals a deliberate avoidance of fairness. Over time, this dynamic breeds resentment and weakens trust. A relationship where one consistently gives while the other only takes is not sustainable. It's an act of exploitation disguised as a connection. This lopsided dynamic often forces the giver to carry an undue emotional burden, resulting in feelings of frustration and disillusionment. The Stoics understood the importance of balance and reciprocity in human relationships. Marcus Aurelius wisely observed, "Do not act as if you were going to live 10,000 years. Focus on what is important." In the context of relationships, this means recognizing when a relationship is hindering rather than helping your growth and peace of mind. To address such imbalances, the first step is clear and honest communication. Express your feelings and set boundaries with kindness but firmness, making it known that fairness is essential for the relationship to thrive. For instance, if a family member frequently relies on you for financial support without any intention of repaying or reciprocating in other ways, explain your perspective calmly. Let them know that you value the relationship but also need it to be more equitable. Sometimes people may not realize the extent of their behavior until it's pointed out to them. Genuine individuals will respond with understanding and effort, while others may withdraw when confronted with accountability. Letting go of unbalanced relationships can be a difficult and emotional process, especially when those involved are close friends or family members. We often feel obligated to maintain these connections out of loyalty or a sense of duty. However, the Stoics teach us that our primary duty is to our own well-being and growth. Seneca reminds us, "You are the guardian of your own mind." Allowing yourself to remain in a one-sided relationship is not an act of loyalty. It's a compromise of your inner peace and dignity. Modern Stoicism urges us to focus on relationships that align with our values and foster mutual respect, rather than clinging to those that drain our energy and hinder our progress. Recognizing the need to cut ties with someone who refuses to share responsibilities is not an act of cruelty, it's an act of self-respect. By prioritizing fairness and balance, you create space for healthier, more fulfilling relationships to enter your life. Imagine the clarity and peace that come from surrounding yourself with people who uplift and support you. rather than those who deplete your emotional and physical resources. Cutting ties may feel harsh initially, but it ultimately opens the door to connections rooted in genuine care, trust, and shared effort. Relationships thrive on mutual contribution, and when that foundation is absent, it's a sign that something needs to change. Whether the relationship improves through open dialogue or ends through intentional boundaries, the result is the same. You reclaim your energy and ensure that your time and effort are spent on connections that truly matter. As Epictetus once said, "Make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens." By focusing on what you can control, your actions, decisions, and boundaries, you create a life enriched by fairness, respect, and harmony. This is the essence of modern Stoicism: living with intention and fostering relationships that reflect the values you hold dear. Number 2. Avoid constantly argumentative people. Relationships are designed to be havens of support, spaces where mutual growth and understanding flourish. Yet when these connections become riddled with relentless conflict, they lose their purpose and instead become sources of emotional exhaustion. The toxic energy of constant arguments drains not only your time, but also your mental and emotional reserves, chipping away at your inner peace. Some people seem to thrive on discord, using arguments as tools to assert dominance, seek validation, or manipulate others. This behavior often stems from insecurity disguised as strength. Imagine a friend who consistently drags you into their personal conflicts, forcing you to take sides in matters that hold no significance to you. Over time, this pattern erodes trust and sows seeds of frustration, depriving your relationship of the harmony and balance that are essential for a meaningful bond. As Epictetus wisely observed, it is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows. Those who argue not to understand but to impose their will only close the door to growth and meaningful connection. In our fast-paced modern lives, where stress seems ever present, engaging with argumentative people can feel like adding fuel to an already raging fire. Modern Stoicism teaches us the value of preserving our inner tranquility amidst external chaos. Emotionally mature relationships are built on the foundations of understanding, mutual respect, and a shared commitment to resolution, not on the need to prove oneself right at all costs. If you find yourself consistently pulled into unnecessary conflict by someone who refuses to respect your boundaries or perspectives, it's a clear indication that the cost of maintaining this relationship outweighs its benefits. Chronic disputes are not an indication of a healthy bond. Instead, they reveal a battleground where peace and understanding have long since vanished. Choosing to disengage from such patterns is not an act of defeat, but one of empowerment, prioritizing your well-being and reclaiming your mental space for relationships that truly matter. Healthy relationships, whether with friends, family, or colleagues, are characterized by shared values and emotional equilibrium. They foster an environment where growth and mutual support are prioritized over ego and conflict. When faced with argumentative individuals, reflect on the wisdom of Seneca. It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor. This craving, whether for validation or dominance, traps people in a cycle of dissatisfaction, and if you engage with them, you risk being drawn into that cycle yourself. Recognize that the time and energy you invest in conflict could instead be directed toward relationships that enrich your life and align with your values. Walking away from toxic disputes is not selfish. It is a statement of self-respect and a commitment to your own serenity. In navigating relationships with argumentative individuals, it is essential to set firm boundaries. Protecting your peace is not a luxury. It is a responsibility. When you disengage from toxic arguments, you are not abandoning compassion, but rather choosing to preserve your energy for those who value and respect it. Not every battle is yours to fight, and not every person deserves a place in your inner circle. This perspective aligns deeply with modern Stoicism, which encourages us to focus on what we can control, our reactions, our boundaries, and our choices, and let go of what we cannot, such as the behavior of others. Relationships should uplift and inspire you, not burden you with constant conflict. They should be spaces where understanding, growth, and mutual respect thrive. By letting go of argumentative connections, you make room for relationships that add value to your life rather than drain it. Choose bonds that stand the test of time, those rooted in trust, harmony, and shared purpose. Surround yourself with individuals who contribute to that happiness, who challenge you to grow in meaningful ways, and who prioritize peace over discord. In doing so, you honor both yourself and the principles of Stoic philosophy, ensuring that your energy is invested where it matters most. Number 3. Avoid people who dismiss your struggles. Empathy forms the foundation of meaningful relationships, yet not everyone you encounter will uphold this vital quality. Some people, whether intentionally or unintentionally, fail to recognize your struggles. They might dismiss your challenges, minimize your experiences, and magnify their own, creating a toxic dynamic that erodes your sense of worth. Picture this. After a grueling week at work, filled with sleepless nights and constant deadlines, you finally open up to a friend. Just as you're getting to the heart of your story, they interrupt, complaining about something trivial like waiting too long in a coffee shop line. Their response feels like a slap in the face, revealing a disheartening truth. Their care for you is surface level, conditional, or even non-existent. Over time, these small moments accumulate, leaving you emotionally drained and profoundly undervalued. Relationships should be built on reciprocity, on mutual understanding, listening, and support. Without this balance, the connection becomes one-sided and harmful, threatening your emotional well-being. Take, for instance, the story of Mia and Jess, a modern example of how unchecked dynamics can corrode even the closest of bonds. Mia had always been there for Jess, ready to listen and provide comfort. But whenever Mia tried to share her own struggles, Jess would quickly shift the focus to herself, hijacking the conversation with exaggerated stories about her own issues. It wasn't just a once-in-a-while occurrence, it was a pattern. At first, Mia brushed it off, rationalizing, maybe Jess just has a lot on her plate. But as time went on, she noticed how Jess never seemed to ask about her life or even acknowledge her feelings. Mia began leaving their interactions feeling more invisible and lonely than before. One day, she stumbled upon a Stoic secret that profoundly changed her perspective. Focus on what you can control and let go of what you cannot. She realized that she couldn't force Jess to care or change her ways, but she could choose how much access Jess had to her inner life. Mia made the brave decision to step back from the friendship. At first, it was painful. After all, Jess had been a part of her life for years. But as time passed, Mia noticed a shift. Without the negativity weighing her down, she started connecting with people who genuinely listened, supported her, and cared about her well-being. These new relationships didn't just fill a void. They uplifted her spirit and reflected the true essence of what friendship should be. A partnership rooted in empathy and mutual respect. So now ask yourself, how often do you feel truly heard? In your relationships, are the people in your life adding to your sense of peace and belonging? Or are they silently draining your energy? Stoicism teaches us a powerful truth. We cannot control others, but we can control our responses and the boundaries we set. If someone consistently dismisses your struggles or fails to meet you halfway, it may be time to reevaluate the role they play in your life. It's not about resentment or anger. It's about protecting your mental well-being and prioritizing relationships that foster growth and connection. Even when it comes to family or lifelong friends, if the dynamic is toxic and unchanging, creating distance isn't selfish. It's necessary for your own peace. The lesson here is both timeless and urgent. Your inner peace is precious, and it deserves to be safeguarded. Relationships that lack empathy, respect, and reciprocity aren't relationships worth holding on to. Instead, cultivate connections with those who see you, hear you, and uplift you. Letting go of toxic ties might feel like a loss, but in reality, it's an act of profound self-respect. It creates space for authentic, meaningful relationships to flourish, ones that align with your values and bring harmony to your life. By embracing this Stoic secret, you'll find the courage to prioritize yourself and surround yourself with the kind of people who truly enrich your journey. You've just taken a significant step towards mastering yourself and protecting your emotional well-being. Now, let's put these Stoic principles into action. Leave a comment below with the phrase, "I choose peace over negativity," to let us know that you are applying these powerful lessons in your life. Keep moving forward, your transformation is happening, and every step brings you closer to genuine connections and true inner peace. Let's continue this journey together. Number 4. Avoid those who impose their beliefs. Healthy relationships are built on mutual respect and an appreciation for differences, allowing individuals to thrive in their unique identities. However, some people are unable or unwilling to honor this principle, choosing instead to impose their religious, political, or personal beliefs on others. These individuals often view opposing perspectives not as opportunities for growth or understanding, but as challenges to be corrected. For instance, consider a friend or family member who insists that their way of life, whether tied to a specific faith, ideology, or political stance, is the only valid one. This relentless need to convert others to their viewpoint can leave you feeling emotionally exhausted, invalidated, and even questioning your own beliefs. Over time, the strain of these interactions can chip away at your self-confidence and disrupt your peace of mind. Imposing beliefs is, at its core, a subtle form of control. It reveals an inability to embrace the beauty of diversity and often prioritizes the imposer's ego over genuine human connection. This wisdom serves as a reminder that while you cannot control the actions or opinions of others, you can choose how much influence you allow them to have over your inner life. In modern life, such behavior might manifest as someone turning every conversation into a debate or repeatedly dismissing your values to assert their own. Their insistence can make it seem as though the relationship revolves solely around their need to dominate, rather than fostering mutual respect or understanding. When faced with this kind of behavior, setting firm boundaries becomes essential. Politely but firmly assert your perspective, making it clear that while you respect their right to their beliefs, you do not wish to engage in confrontational debates or be subjected to constant pressure. It is an act of courage to stand firm in your values, especially when dealing with someone you care about. As Seneca observed, associate with those who will make a better man of you. Welcome those whom you yourself can improve. True friends and supportive family members will respect your boundaries and see differences as a chance to celebrate individuality, not diminish it. Conversely, those who persist in trying to control or dominate your beliefs likely do not have your best interests at heart. Their actions reveal a lack of regard for your emotional well-being, making it important to evaluate the value of maintaining such relationships. Choosing to step back is not an act of rejection, but a way to protect your inner peace. It is a commitment to fostering relationships that allow for growth, inspiration, and the freedom to be yourself. This aligns deeply with the principles of modern Stoicism, which emphasizes the importance of creating an environment where your virtues and character can flourish. Relationships that nurture and uplift allow room for differing perspectives without pressure or judgment. These connections thrive on open-minded discussions and the shared curiosity to understand one another. Surround yourself with individuals who listen, empathize, and value your freedom to express your beliefs without fear of criticism or coercion. As Epictetus taught, keep company only with people who uplift you, whose presence calls forth your best. By choosing relationships that inspire growth and understanding, you create a life filled with connections that are meaningful and supportive, rather than draining and oppressive. Such relationships exemplify the true essence of modern Stoicism, living intentionally and with integrity, surrounded by those who respect and embrace your individuality. Number 5. Avoid people who cause distress. Relationships are meant to bring joy, comfort, and support, serving as vital sources of nourishment for the soul. They are the bonds that uplift us in times of need and celebrate our successes. However, not all connections are meant to last forever or continue to fulfill these roles as time goes on. Some relationships become burdensome, leaving you feeling uneasy, anxious, or emotionally drained. What was once a friendship filled with laughter and light can transform into an obligation where interactions feel forced and silences weigh heavily between you. This shift often reflects the natural divergence of life paths, as values, interests, and priorities evolve in ways that no longer align. Marcus Aurelius captured this truth with his timeless words. The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. If a relationship consistently leaves you feeling distressed or depleted, it becomes essential to ask whether maintaining that connection is worth the cost to your well-being. Distress in a relationship doesn't always stem from overt conflict or malicious intent. Often it manifests subtly, as a sense of obligation or an undercurrent of tension that's hard to define. It's the exhaustion of maintaining a connection that no longer flows naturally, where conversations feel forced, and the emotional energy required outweighs any positive return. These changes rarely happen overnight. Instead, they unfold gradually as people grow and change in different directions. While this evolution is natural, clinging to a relationship that no longer aligns with your values can drain you emotionally and rob you of the energy needed to cultivate healthier, more fulfilling connections. Modern Stoicism emphasizes the importance of focusing on what we can control, our choices, reactions, and relationships, and letting go of what no longer serves our growth or tranquility. As Seneca wisely said, "Associate with those who make you better." It's a gentle yet powerful reminder to prioritize the people who uplift, inspire, and encourage you, rather than those who leave you feeling diminished. Letting go of relationships that cause distress doesn't mean erasing the person from your life or dismissing the memories you've shared. Instead, it's about acknowledging the value they once brought while accepting that some bonds aren't meant to last forever. Growth often requires creating space for new, meaningful connections that align with your present self and future aspirations. Cherishing the past doesn't mean allowing it to chain you to relationships that no longer support your well-being. By stepping back, you not only preserve your peace, but also give the other person the freedom to grow independently. This process, though difficult, reflects an act of self-awareness and mutual respect, recognizing that parting ways can be an expression of care rather than conflict. Healthy relationships are built on mutual understanding, shared values, and a foundation of reciprocal support. When distress and negativity begin to outweigh the joy and positivity, it's a clear signal to reassess that connection's role in your life. In the fast-paced demands of modern life, where time and emotional energy are finite resources, surrounding yourself with individuals who energize and inspire you becomes essential. This is not an abandonment of compassion or loyalty, but rather an acknowledgement that some relationships fulfill their purpose and naturally fade, making room for connections that better align with your current values and goals. As you grow, the people you choose to keep close should reflect the life you want to lead, not the one you've outgrown. Relationships should enhance your happiness and strengthen your resilience, helping you navigate life's challenges with greater ease and clarity. Modern Stoicism teaches us that our emotional and mental well-being is intricately tied to the company we keep. When you release relationships that bring distress, you create space for those that nurture your spirit and support your growth. Epictetus, a Stoic master of self-reflection, reminded us, "We cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them." By choosing to let go of relationships that no longer serve you, you honor your inner peace and allow yourself to cultivate a life that is rich in authenticity, purpose, and harmony. Number 6. Avoid constant complainers. Some people make complaining their default form of communication, turning every interaction into a draining monologue about their frustrations and problems. While it's normal and healthy to vent occasionally, because we all have tough days when we need a trusted ear, it becomes a problem when someone constantly uses you as their emotional dumping ground. These individuals unload their grievances without any consideration for your feelings or well-being. Imagine this scenario. A coworker spends every single break complaining about their workload, yet never takes steps to address or improve their situation. Day after day, their negativity overshadows your attempts to find even a moment of peace. This pattern reflects a deeper issue. They're not seeking meaningful advice or support. They're looking for validation and an audience for their complaints. Over time, this dynamic becomes exhausting, leaving you emotionally depleted, frustrated, and questioning why the relationship feels so one-sided and unbalanced. To illustrate this, let's look at Jake's story. Jake, a motivated and enthusiastic young professional, loved his job and saw each day as an opportunity to grow. His coworker, Sam, was the exact opposite. Every lunch break, Sam turned their conversations into endless rants about work. Their boss, the tasks, even minor things like the office coffee machine. At first, Jake tried to help, suggesting actionable solutions and encouraging Sam to talk to their manager. But Sam always dismissed Jake's ideas with a defeated, "That won't work." Jake soon realized that Sam didn't want solutions. He only wanted to vent and keep the focus on his problems. Slowly but surely, Jake felt his own positivity eroding as Sam's negativity began to weigh him down. Recognizing the toll it was taking on his mental health, Jake turned to a Stoic secret: focus on what you can control and release what you cannot. Jake understood that while he couldn't change Sam's behavior, he could control his own boundaries. He politely but firmly explained to Sam that he could no longer engage in such draining conversations. Instead, Jake started spending his breaks with colleagues who shared his drive and positive outlook. This simple change didn't just lighten Jake's mood. It reaffirmed the importance of protecting his mental space and valuing relationships that bring balance rather than stress. So, take a moment to reflect. Are there people in your life who seem to constantly fill the air with negativity, leaving no room for mutual support or positivity? Do you feel like you're sacrificing your emotional well-being just to accommodate their endless complaints? Stoicism teaches us a vital truth. While we can't control how others behave, we can absolutely control our responses and decide where to invest our time and energy. Setting boundaries isn't about being unkind. It's about preserving your peace of mind and ensuring that your emotional health remains a priority. When it comes to handling constant complainers, approach the situation with compassion but firmness. Let them know you understand their frustrations, but encourage them to seek proactive solutions rather than perpetually venting. You might suggest they take steps to address their issues or even consider seeking professional support if needed. However, if they remain resistant and continue to use you as an emotional outlet without ever considering your feelings, it's a sign to reevaluate the relationship. Healthy connections are built on mutual respect and shared support, not on one-sided dynamics that drain your energy and leave you feeling undervalued. The key takeaway is this: while empathy is an essential part of relationships, it should never come at the cost of your own mental and emotional well-being. Surround yourself with individuals who inspire you, uplift you, and bring balance to your life. It's not selfish to prioritize your mental health. It's necessary. Remember this Stoic secret: your energy is one of your most precious resources, and where you choose to invest it has a direct impact on your outlook and quality of life. By setting boundaries with constant complainers, you not only protect your peace, but also open the door to cultivating relationships that genuinely nourish your spirit and align with your values. You have the power to create a space where positivity thrives and your emotional well-being is honored, and it starts by choosing who gets your time and attention. Let me ask you, are you ready to take ownership of your life and empower yourself through mastery? Act now. Like this video and leave a comment below. Master yourself. Protect your peace. Share with me the steps you've taken to protect your mental health and maintain healthy relationships, free from the influence of constant complainers. Remember, true strength doesn't come from controlling others, it comes from mastering yourself. Number 7. Avoid people who break promises. Promises are the foundation of trust, the invisible threads that hold meaningful relationships together. They go beyond mere words. They are commitments rooted in respect, care, and mutual accountability. When someone repeatedly fails to honor their promises, it sends a clear message about their disregard for your time and feelings. Consider the friend who cancels plans at the last minute, offering excuses like, "I forgot we had plans," or "something else came up." While occasional lapses are understandable, consistent behavior like this reveals a troubling pattern. You're not a priority in their life. Each broken promise chips away at the trust that binds the relationship, replacing it with disappointment, frustration, and doubt, which can leave lasting emotional scars. It is important to acknowledge that everyone falters at times, and isolated instances of unreliability don't necessarily signal a lack of respect. However, habitual failure to honor commitments often reflects deeper issues, such as selfishness, a lack of accountability, or an inability to value the needs of others. These behaviors make you question not just the sincerity of their words, but the overall value they place on your connection. As Seneca observed, "It is a great thing to know the season for speech and the season for silence." In relationships, this wisdom reminds us to recognize when it is worth addressing issues and when it is wiser to step back for the sake of our own well-being. Constantly dealing with someone who fails to follow through on their promises can be exhausting and deplete your emotional energy, leaving you feeling undervalued and drained. Addressing this issue requires courage, clarity, and self-respect. The first step is honest communication. When someone breaks a promise, approach the situation calmly but assertively, explaining how their behavior affects you and expressing your expectations for change. This is not about assigning blame, but about fostering mutual understanding. Observe their response. Do they acknowledge their behavior and make a genuine effort to change, or do they continue to dismiss your concerns? Genuine individuals who value the relationship will demonstrate their commitment to rebuilding trust through consistent actions, not just empty apologies. However, if the pattern persists, it becomes necessary to evaluate whether the relationship is worth maintaining. Walking away from someone who repeatedly fails to respect your time and trust is not an act of resentment, but a step toward preserving your own peace and self-worth. The Stoics teach us that we cannot control the actions of others, but we can control how we respond to them. Epictetus advised, "It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This wisdom is particularly relevant when dealing with unreliable individuals. If someone continues to disregard your boundaries and commitments despite your efforts to address the issue, the most empowering response is to protect your peace by distancing yourself. By doing so, you create space for relationships that are built on reliability, mutual respect, and shared values, connections that uplift you rather than weigh you down. Modern Stoicism encourages us to focus on relationships that reflect our principles and contribute to our growth, emphasizing the importance of investing time and energy in connections that align with our values. Relationships should be sources of inspiration and support, not stress or doubt. Trust, once broken repeatedly, is difficult to rebuild and can erode the foundation of even the strongest connections. By stepping away from relationships with individuals who fail to honor their promises, you affirm your commitment to self-respect and emotional clarity. Surrounding yourself with people who keep their word and value your time is a reflection of your desire to live with integrity and harmony. Letting go of unreliable connections is not about holding grudges or harboring resentment. It's about choosing a life filled with meaningful relationships that are rooted in mutual care and respect. This choice embodies the true essence of modern Stoicism, prioritizing your well-being and fostering relationships that bring value and positivity to your life. Number 8. Avoid those who revisit the same problems. Some individuals seem perpetually trapped in a cycle of repetitive complaints and unresolved problems, creating an endless loop of frustration that can be both exhausting and disheartening for those around them. These people are not genuinely seeking solutions. Rather, they are looking for temporary comfort, validation, or someone to shoulder the burden of their grievances. For instance, consider a colleague who constantly laments their overwhelming workload, but refuses every practical suggestion for improvement. Over time, such behavior not only tests your patience but also drains your energy, leaving you feeling unheard and emotionally fatigued. As Epictetus wisely said, "It is not what happens to you but how you react to it that matters." This insight also applies to those who choose to dwell on their problems, refusing to take responsibility for their circumstances or take meaningful steps toward resolution. When someone repeatedly revisits the same problems without making progress, it fosters stagnation within the relationship, breeding monotony and frustration. This behavior often stems from a lack of self-awareness or an unwillingness to grow, as well as a tendency to prioritize excuses over accountability. While offering empathy and support initially feels natural, constant exposure to these unchanging cycles can make the relationship feel more like a draining obligation than a fulfilling connection. Modern Stoicism encourages us to align our energy with growth, progress, and self-improvement, rather than allowing ourselves to be tethered to negativity. If someone's refusal to change begins to weigh heavily on your well-being, it's a clear signal to assess whether the relationship still brings value to your life. Seneca wisely observed, "While we are postponing, life speeds by, reminding us that our time is precious and should not be squandered in endless cycles of inaction." Breaking free from this dynamic requires honest and compassionate communication. Gently but firmly encourage the person to take proactive steps toward resolving their challenges, reminding them that growth requires both effort and accountability. By framing your feedback with care and understanding, you create an opportunity for the other person to reflect and take ownership of their actions. However, if they continue to dismiss your advice and cling to their patterns of negativity, it may be time to prioritize your own well-being by stepping back from the relationship. This is not an act of selfishness but one of self-respect, a necessary measure to preserve your energy and focus on the relationships that uplift and inspire you. Removing yourself from repetitive complainers is not about abandoning compassion. It's about nurturing your peace and maintaining your ability to engage meaningfully with the world around you. Healthy relationships are built on mutual encouragement, shared values, and a collective commitment to personal development. Surrounding yourself with people who inspire you to grow and support your aspirations ensures that your emotional landscape remains positive and resilient. Distance yourself from those who anchor you to a cycle of unresolved problems and, instead, cultivate connections that promote progress and joy. Modern Stoicism teaches us that our energy is finite and should be directed toward pursuits and relationships that align with our principles and goals. Marcus Aurelius emphasized this idea, urging us to focus on action and authenticity with his words. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. When you choose to step away from relationships that weigh you down, you create the space to live with greater clarity, intention, and peace. By honoring yourself and the principles of modern Stoicism, you can design a life that is rich in authenticity, progress, and inner tranquility. This means recognizing the relationships worth cherishing and understanding when it's time to let go of those that no longer serve your growth. In doing so, you set a higher standard for your connections, ensuring that the energy you invest in others is reciprocated with encouragement, positivity, and shared purpose. Number 9. Avoid excessive boasters. True confidence doesn't need a spotlight, yet some individuals seem to crave one, relying on constant boasting to validate their sense of self-worth. These people often dominate conversations, using them as platforms to showcase their achievements while steering clear of any discussion about the present. For instance, think about a friend who always brings up their old awards, accomplishments, or past glory, but avoids sharing anything about their current life or challenges. It's as if they're hiding behind a wall of past successes to mask their insecurities or deflect from the reality they'd rather not face. Over time, this behavior creates a superficial dynamic, one where genuine connection and mutual respect are replaced by self-aggrandizement and a one-sided narrative. This isn't just frustrating, it's alienating. When someone's stories are all about them, with no space for shared experiences, meaningful dialogue, or emotional vulnerability, the relationship becomes shallow and emotionally draining. Let me share a story that illustrates this. Sarah, a passionate artist, cherished deep conversations with her friends about creativity and personal growth. However, her friend Mark had a different approach to communication. Every time they met, Mark would dominate the conversation, talking endlessly about an award he won years ago, or the recognition he received for a project in college. At first, Sarah was impressed and even inspired, but as time passed, she noticed a pattern. Mark never spoke about his current life, his struggles, or what he was working on now. When Sarah tried to share her experiences or ideas, Mark quickly redirected the discussion back to himself. One day, Sarah realized that their interactions weren't genuine. Drawing from Stoic secrets, she reminded herself of the importance of focusing on what she could control, her energy, and the people she chose to spend time with. She started setting boundaries, gently steering conversations to the present or letting Mark know when she needed balance in their talks. When his boasting didn't change, Sarah made the tough decision to step back. In doing so, she created room in her life for friends who were authentic, present, and willing to share both successes and struggles. Now take a moment to reflect. Do you have people in your life who can't seem to let go of their own self-promotion? Are their stories always about them, leaving no room for genuine interaction or shared growth? Stoicism teaches us that the most meaningful relationships are rooted in sincerity, humility, and mutual respect, not in ego-driven narratives. When someone's excessive boasting shifts the dynamic away from authentic connection, it's a sign to reassess the relationship. It's not about resentment. It's about protecting your peace and surrounding yourself with people who value balance and mutual support. When dealing with excessive boasters, approach the situation with kindness and honesty. Encourage them to embrace the present and see vulnerability not as a weakness but as a bridge to deeper connection. Let them know that relationships thrive on authenticity and that constantly living in the past can prevent genuine growth. However, if the pattern continues despite your efforts, it may be time to take a step back and protect your emotional well-being. The lesson here is profound and actionable. True confidence is quiet, grounded in humility and self-assurance, not loud declarations of past achievements. Surround yourself with individuals who value authenticity and shared growth, those who inspire you to be your best self without overshadowing your own voice. By letting go of ego-driven relationships, you create space for deeper, more meaningful connections, ones that foster mutual respect, trust, and emotional growth. Remember, as Stoic secrets remind us, we can't control the actions of others, but we can control the energy we allow into our lives. Choose relationships that align with your values, and protect the balance and sincerity that make life's connections truly worthwhile. As you reflect on these signs, remember that letting go is not an act of cruelty, but an act of self-respect. Cutting ties with those who drain your energy or hinder your growth opens space for healthier, more meaningful connections. By recognizing these signs, you're taking a step toward emotional freedom and personal peace. Building healthy connections. Now that we've identified the relationships that may be holding you back, let's shift our focus to building healthy, uplifting connections. It's not just about cutting ties, it's also about creating a supportive network that fosters your growth and happiness. Stay with us because in the next section, we'll reveal how to attract and maintain relationships that bring joy and strength into your life, connections that truly matter. Number 1. Set clear boundaries. Boundaries are the invisible yet powerful lines that define how others can treat you, protecting your emotional, mental, and even physical well-being. They serve as personal guidelines not designed to keep people away, but to create a framework where mutual respect and understanding thrive in relationships. In today's fast-paced world, where personal and professional lives often collide, the importance of boundaries has never been more significant. Without them, we risk overextending ourselves, giving too much to others, and neglecting our own needs. This can lead to burnout, resentment, and ultimately, compromised well-being. Establishing boundaries is an essential skill for maintaining a balanced and healthy life. Take, for example, a colleague who consistently calls you after hours to discuss work-related matters. This situation can easily intrude upon your personal time and mental space, blurring the lines between professional responsibilities and personal life. By setting clear boundaries, such as communicating that you are unavailable for work calls after a certain time, you assert control over your time. This simple yet powerful act sets the tone for others to understand and respect your need for personal space. You demonstrate that you value your time and energy, and in turn, others learn to honor that. As Marcus Aurelius wisely said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Establishing boundaries aligns with the Stoic wisdom. By focusing on what you can control, your responses, actions, and limits, you reclaim your power. You cannot control the actions of others, but you can control how you react to them. Boundaries empower you to stay true to your values, preventing external forces from dictating your emotional or mental state. Clear boundaries also serve as a compass for your relationships. When you articulate your limits, you reduce the chance of misunderstandings or exploitation. Boundaries ensure that your needs and the needs of others are addressed with fairness, fostering mutual respect and trust. People who care about you will appreciate and honor your limits, while those who persist in crossing them may reveal self-centered tendencies, focusing on their needs without regard for your well-being. Recognizing these behaviors helps you avoid toxic relationships and focus on those that are built on reciprocity and respect. In modern Stoicism, boundaries are seen as a way to live in alignment with your core values, ensuring that your interactions are fair and balanced. However, creating and maintaining boundaries is not always easy. It requires clear communication and consistency. It's one thing to set limits, but it's another to enforce them with confidence. Initially, this might feel uncomfortable, especially when it comes to relationships with loved ones or close friends. It can be hard to say no to people you care about. Yet, over time, establishing boundaries strengthens your ability to maintain relationships that are both balanced and fulfilling. When you communicate your limits, it's important to be firm, but respectful. Focus on how the behavior affects you rather than blaming or accusing the other person. For example, saying, "I need my evenings to recharge so I won't be able to respond to work emails after 6 p.m., is a clear and respectful way to set boundaries without creating conflict. People who respect your boundaries will understand, and those who don't may not have your best interests at heart. Boundaries are not about selfishness or pushing others away. They are about self-respect and ensuring that your relationships are based on mutual understanding. They allow you to prioritize what matters most to you, whether that's personal time, family, or meaningful work, without feeling depleted or resentful. As Epictetus wisely taught, no man is free who is not master of himself. Setting boundaries helps you take ownership of your time, energy, and emotional capacity. By doing so, you prioritize what aligns with your values and goals, fostering an environment where both you and others can thrive. Boundaries are the cornerstone of meaningful and respectful relationships. They empower you to take ownership of your emotional and mental space while encouraging others to do the same. In a world that constantly demands more than we can give, boundaries are an act of self-care that not only benefits you but also enhances the quality of your relationships. Embracing this principle of modern Stoicism allows you to maintain your inner peace and ensures that your connections with others are both functional and fulfilling. By setting boundaries, you create a space where mutual respect and understanding can flourish, making every relationship more meaningful and harmonious. Number 2. Connect with like-minded people. Surrounding yourself with individuals who share your values, aspirations, and passions is one of the most effective ways to cultivate personal growth and enhance your well-being. These connections serve as a source of inspiration, mutual encouragement, and a powerful sense of belonging. Like-minded people challenge you to become the best version of yourself while providing a safe space where you can remain authentic without fear of judgment. For example, joining a group of professionals who align with your career ambitions can open doors to collaborative opportunities, diverse perspectives, and a stronger sense of purpose. As Marcus Aurelius observed, the art of living is more like wrestling than dancing, in that it stands ready for what comes and is not thrown by the unforeseen. In the same way, connecting with those who understand your struggles and ambitions fortifies your resolve, helping you face life's challenges with resilience. These relationships thrive because they are founded on shared interests, mutual respect, and genuine understanding. Unlike superficial connections that often lack depth, bonds with like-minded individuals encourage you to express your authentic self, enriching the quality of your interactions. When you engage with people who value your goals and perspectives, you experience a unique form of support and empathy that makes you feel understood and validated. This emotional alignment creates a foundation for meaningful exchanges, fostering not just personal growth but also a deep sense of fulfillment. For instance, if fitness is your passion, having a workout partner who shares your dedication can motivate you through difficult days and make your triumphs feel even more rewarding. These relationships amplify your successes and offer stability during moments of doubt, serving as a reliable anchor when life feels uncertain. However, connecting with like-minded individuals doesn't mean seeking out carbon copies of yourself. Differences in perspectives can coexist within these relationships, adding richness and depth rather than conflict. The key lies in mutual respect and a shared commitment to growth. Like-mindedness is not about uniformity. It is about aligning on core values while embracing the diversity that broadens your horizons. Modern Stoicism teaches us the value of harmony in relationships, emphasizing that personal growth flourishes in environments that encourage collaboration and understanding. As Seneca wisely remarked, associate with those who will make a better man of you. Welcome those whom you yourself can improve. The process is a mutual one. Men learn as they teach. To build these enriching connections, take the initiative to seek out communities and networks that align with your interests, whether through professional groups, social clubs, or shared hobbies. Engage in meaningful conversations and invest time in nurturing these bonds with sincerity and openness. Actively participating in such communities not only strengthens your network, but also enhances your sense of belonging and purpose. For instance, joining a book club with individuals who share your passion for learning can spark stimulating discussions that challenge your perspective and deepen your understanding of the world. In modern life, where digital distractions often isolate us, forming authentic connections with like-minded individuals provides a crucial antidote, fostering emotional resilience and mental clarity. Surrounding yourself with like-minded people empowers you to reach new heights, reminding you that you are not alone on your journey. These relationships enhance your confidence, inspire continuous self-improvement, and create a reliable support system that enriches every facet of your life. Modern Stoicism underscores the importance of such connections, urging us to align our energy with those who uplift and motivate us. By forging meaningful bonds with people who share your vision and values, you cultivate a life that is both fulfilling and aligned with your purpose. As you invest in these relationships, you create a foundation for growth, resilience, and mutual empowerment, enabling you to navigate life's complexities with a steady and inspired heart. You've come this far because you know the importance of connecting with like-minded people who uplift and empower you. Let's keep the momentum going. Leave a comment with this slogan: growth thrives in harmony. By doing so, you show your commitment to building meaningful relationships that inspire growth and purpose. Together, let's create a space for connection and shared wisdom. Stay tuned. More powerful lessons are on the way. Number 3, foster respect and gratitude. Respect and gratitude are the heartbeats of every meaningful relationship. They form the foundation of trust, warmth, and mutual appreciation, creating bonds that withstand challenges and bring out the best in everyone involved. Imagine this. A friend goes out of their way to help you during a tough time. A simple thank you or a heartfelt acknowledgement of their effort can make all the difference. Similarly, When you apologize sincerely for a mistake, it communicates that you value the relationship more than your ego. These small acts of gratitude and respect strengthen connections in ways that are both profound and lasting. Respect starts with recognizing the individuality of the people in your life. It's about seeing their unique experiences, perspectives, and values without trying to control or change them. Think of a respectful conversation where two people with opposing views genuinely listen to one another and find common ground. It's an example of how respect fosters understanding rather than conflict. Gratitude, on the other hand, shifts your focus from what you lack to what you already have. By appreciating the contributions and efforts of those around you, you cultivate a mindset that values the present moment and deepens your connections. Even something as simple as acknowledging a partner's efforts in daily tasks can have a profound impact, showing that their contributions don't go unnoticed. Consider the story of Emma and her coworker, Daniel. Emma was always quick to point out areas where Daniel could improve but rarely acknowledged his hard work. Over time, their working relationship became strained, with Daniel feeling unappreciated and Emma frustrated by his growing reluctance to collaborate. One day, Emma decided to change her approach. She made a conscious effort to express gratitude for Daniel's efforts, even for the small things. She also started listening more actively, respecting his ideas even when they differed from her own. To her surprise, Daniel's attitude shifted. He became more cooperative and enthusiastic, and their teamwork flourished. This change wasn't magical. It was the result of Emma embracing the Stoic secret that respect and gratitude are powerful tools for building harmony. By focusing on what she could control, her own behavior, she transformed their dynamic into one of mutual support and trust. Now think about your own relationships. Do you take the time to acknowledge the efforts and individuality of those around you? Or do you find yourself caught up in frustrations and unmet expectations? Practicing respect means listening without judgment, giving others the space to express themselves, and valuing them for who they are. Gratitude, on the other hand, invites you to shift your perspective. Instead of focusing on what someone hasn't done, take a moment to recognize what they have contributed. These practices don't just benefit others, they create a ripple effect, fostering a cycle of positivity and deeper connection. The beauty of respect and gratitude lies in their simplicity. A genuine thank you or a moment of active listening can diffuse tension, prevent conflicts, and nurture relationships that bring joy and growth. This applies not only in personal settings but also in professional ones. In the workplace, acknowledging a colleague's contributions or respecting their boundaries strengthens collaboration and builds trust. On a personal level, expressing gratitude for a friend's small acts of kindness can reinforce the bond you share. The lesson here is clear. Respect and gratitude are not just values to practice occasionally. They are habits that, when cultivated consistently, transform relationships into sources of strength and fulfillment. By fostering these qualities, you create an environment where mutual support and appreciation thrive. Remember this Stoic secret. When you approach others with respect and gratitude, you enrich not only their lives, but your own. These principles don't just protect your emotional well-being, they also create meaningful connections that serve as the foundation of a life filled with purpose, joy, and resilience. So, take a moment today to express your gratitude, respect someone's perspective, and watch how these simple acts ripple through your relationships, leaving them stronger and more fulfilling than ever before. As we wrap up today's video, I encourage you to apply these Stoic principles to your daily life. Recognizing when to cut ties with toxic relationships is essential for personal growth and happiness. Remember, it's not about being cruel. It's about preserving your peace and honoring your own worth. Take a moment to reflect on the relationships in your life. Are they adding value or taking away from your well-being? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Have you ever had to make the tough decision to let go of a relationship for your own growth? Share your experiences in the comments below, and let's discuss how we can all apply these Stoic insights to build stronger, healthier connections. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Stoic in Your Life for more valuable lessons. Stay strong and keep growing.